Okay, in this particular video, I'm going to try and explain the cash up processes that's available in this POS software. Okay, on your screen, you'll see a graph, and I've put here a couple of days, starting from 12 o'clock midnight, moving across to 12 o'clock midnight Tuesday, and going on so forth and so forth. The cash up day total, it goes from midnight to midnight and it'll automatically roll over. So at the end of the day, generally you would hit the cash up day button, it will give you your day totals, and at midnight it zeroes itself off ready for the next day automatically. But we've got a couple of other options as well. Okay, let's say you want to run shifts. You want to know how much you've done up to 12 o'clock in the morning from the morning shift, and then you've got the late night shift that goes over till 3 o'clock in the morning. So what you want to do is separate each shift. It gives you a better idea of actually how you're clocking per shift and per day, because your day actually goes beyond the 3 o'clock. Okay, so in this particular case, we can have multiple shifts, and that's your cash up shift report, and that's marked here by the yellow. So you can see you've got till 3 o'clock in the morning from the night before. You've got a shift going from whenever they start, 9 o'clock till 12, and then from say 12 goes all the way through to 3 o'clock in the morning, and have another short one, then have another long one, going to the next day. These are shift. So each shift is usually an operator, and in most businesses it's a great idea to just have one operator to be responsible for the money that's in that particular till. You see this happen a lot in bars where they go 24 hours around the clock, where they'll have someone bowl in, they'll bring in their cash drawer, their little float, they'll put it in the till, the other person will take their cash drawer out, they'll go out and count around the back, and they count up the new float, and they continue to the next shift, and so on and so on. So for that 4 or 5 hour shift or whatever they do, that one person uses that till and is responsible for the money in the till. So that's your shift cash up. It's a great idea to do. Again, there's a process for that. The last one is a period one. Now, period one means whenever I decide to start it and when I decide to stop it. So if I have multiple shifts and my day runs between 3 a.m. in the morning and 3 a.m. the next morning, I can start cash up pay period one from 3 a.m. and then close it off at the following 3 a.m. So that encompasses both shifts all together. So that will give you a true indication of what your daily does. It's a slightly different report, and it just breaks it up into payment types for you, but basically you can tell what's going on across all your tills if you've got more than one till between a particular period of when you decide to start it and you decide to stop it. Okay, so how does this work on the POS? All right, let's get rid of that. Okay, so options. So we've got lots of options here, but the one we're looking for is our cash up, which is the one with the money bag. You can't really go wrong with that. So we hit our cash up button. Again, you need your supervisor number. Okay. All right, so let's look at our day. Is simply the first one that we indicated that starts from 12 to 12, and all you do is click on that button and it will run a day report. No point for me doing them here because I don't have a printer attached so I can show you on screen, but I did print out a few to PDF and I'll show you at the end of this video. You'll also see a little dial up button on the bottom here. This will allow you up to 7 days to go back and reprint that docket. So if you've cashed up tonight and staff cashed up last night and you haven't been in there to check out what they've done, you can just dial this back a day and basically go press the day button and it'll give you the cash up for yesterday. So that's your day button. You can do it over a date range if you like. If you want to know this register over 7 days, because that's the most it'll hold in this buffer is 7 days. If you want any further than that, there's a whole multitude of reports in the back office, which is a whole other video. But this is just basically to let you know how you're going on a day-by-day basis. Or you can do it across all registers. If you have more than one registers, it gives you a total of all the registers. The shift is the one we were talking about before. So what happens when you close shift, and I'm just going to run it. It's going to ask me for a PDF file, but you'll get the idea. So I'm going to close my shift now, and you can see here I've had a few shifts that I've opened and closed, So we're now currently, our shift status is open. We're on shift reading number 100. If I've finished my shift, I select close shift. It's now going to ask me for my report. That's fine. Yep, it's just printing out my reports. Okay, now the shift is closed, and it's asking me to enter my new float for the next person. So the next person now will bowl up and they'll have their little bag with their new float. They'll put in their float, confirm, and now that till is ready to go under the new operator name. Okay, done. So that's how you do a shift. So the next person that comes in, when you finish your shift, you go cash up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, shift, I'm closing my shift. Same process. We're now on shift 101. We're going to be going on to shift 102 in a second. Doesn't mind the day reports. Shift is closed. My new float. And if we go back into that, yep, options, cash up. If we go back into our shift, you can see now we're on shift 102. Okay, each shift is registered to a terminal. So I'm on POS 1 at the moment. Okay, so we've got a period reading shift there that's open as well. Another one was closed earlier, and that's the period here is the one, same concept as the shift, but we tell it when we start. So if we're starting the new shift or closing the old one, we start on the new one now, same process as the shift. Okay, we can also go back and print a pre-selected one as well off the pull down. So we can go print and see how we went, say, last week if we wanted to. The period ones will go on since time began in the till. So that's basically the concept of the three different types of shifts. You got a day, shift, and a period. And going back to that graph, that's the most important, is basically to understand how each one starts and each one stops. Day, 12 to 12 automatically. Shift is when you start, operator finishes, next one starts, next one finishes. The period is when I decide to start it, when I decide to finish it. Simple as that. I'd say the best wise move would be to be consistent with your timing of when you're going to start your shifts and close your shifts. That way you will see consistently the figures week to week, how you're going. Also, another little option I'll show you in Cash Up, if you want to know how you're running for the day, just as a view without going through a whole Cash Up process, we have a button here called the dashboard in the options. If you click on dashboard, and you can see, oh, we've got a fantastic trend. We're 485% up from this time last week, which is great because I haven't got much data in here. But these graphs here will start to give you trends. This one will give you a daily trend based on the same time for the same day, comparing the week before that, up to 4 or 5 weeks back. This will do the same thing up to the week of the day, the week you're up to. So say, for example, we're running this on a Wednesday. Between Monday and Wednesday, this will compare between Monday and Wednesday of this week compared to last week, the week before, and so on, and starts to create a little bit of a trend for you. We're up 485%. Isn't that fantastic? The date range is you pick your own range, basically. So if I go from, say, the 15th, yeah, let's do that one. There we go. I've still got a 400. Let's go back even further. Refresh view. Okay, so for this period, it's comparing the same period time before that and before that. We're up 56%. So overall, it's giving us an uptrend on our business. As you get data on your system, you'll see little graphs will start to appear there on your weekly takings, and this will just tell you how much you've got in sales so far today, or for the period we registered. So if we go back to the day, refresh our view, that's how much we've got in today, and we served 16 customers today. So that's just a little dashboard to see how you're rolling at this point in time. Okay, so I hope that sort of explained the Cash Up and the dashboard for you. I'll just show you some samples of the dockets and explain how they actually work. So let's say single register end of the day, no referrals. This will give us a Cash Up docket for the end of the day. I'll just magnify that just a little bit so we can get a good view of it. And this is exactly what prints on your printer, tells you total sales, how much the cash in the till. That is your most important number, the total cash in till. It also takes out your float, tells you what you can bank, and how much has actually come through with the FPOS. So these two totals here, that one and that one, are the most important numbers in this whole docket. The rest is statistical. And you can see if you pay by points, coupons, splits, you've done payouts, it all gets totaled up here. Tells you the number of customers, average spend by customer, very important statistics to have. How many sales were including or excluding GST, total GST collected there. Then you've got category totals, how many coffee, how much you've picked up in FPOS charges, how many modifiers you've used in those coffees. Then it breaks it up into how many Deliveroo transactions you had, menu log, Uber Eats, and so forth. This is telling us we're not including this figure in our total sales figure. We can include it in one of the dockets. It's an option that you have. Okay, I'll just show you the period one is a little bit different. So your period one will show you your POS terminal, how much is in sales and cash, FPOS, how many was in refunds. This is a payment on a walk-in, so basically it's not a sale, so it doesn't line up in the sales, and that tells you your total bottom line is $413, and it's come in at customers, 23 customers of average sale per customer, sales excluding GST, sales including GST, and there's your Z period total for that period. So it's a summarized report and made to work across multiple terminals if you have multiple terminals. But remember, this one is when you decide to start it and when you decide to stop it. Okay, so that's basically it. And thank you for listening. I hope that it's clarified your cash up process and how the different cash up processes work. In most of the time, your day total will get you out of trouble. Thank you for listening.